Thank you for staying. Welcome to the News Belt on the AM show. And it's official. Boku Central legislator Mahama Ayariga has officially assumed the only black seat in the majority pews of Parliament. Mahama Ayariga has taken over from Dr. Cassiel Atoforsen, who is the new finance minister, as the majority leader. The NDC has reconstituted its front benches following the appointment of 4 out of the 5 leaders as ministers. In a letter addressed to the Speaker, General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Fiavikwete, informed the Speaker about the changes. Here's the Speaker reading the communication on the floor of Parliament.
In accordance with the established parliamentary procedures and practice, I write to formally inform you of the selection of the leaders of the Majority Caucus for the 9th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Pursuant to this, and following extensive deliberation by the National Executive Committee and in consultation with the NDC Majority Caucus, we have designated the following honorable members to the leadership positions on the majority front bench. 1. Majority Leader, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, MP for Boku Central. 2. Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable George Kweku Ricketts Hagan, MP for Cape Coast South. 3. Majority Chief Whip, Honorable Roxton Nelson Kwame Eche Dafiamapo, MP for South Dai. 4. First Deputy Majority Whip, Honorable Comfort Doyo Kujo, MP for Adan. And 5. Second Deputy Majority Whip, Honorable Richard Achampon, MP for Bia East.
Now, the minority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, urged the new leadership to prioritize consensus building.
People don't know how great our friendship is, but you were always getting under my skin. And I know now, as a minister, our political fight would take a different form. This time, you'd have to come and defend your government policy. To the incoming team, led by my senior at the bar, my respected colleague, Mahama Ayariga. We served together in ECOWAS Parliament. You were very supportive. You've earned the respect of your colleagues in the sub-region. I know that you built consensus. In fact, Honorable Ayariga, there's something I've learned from you and I want to share. You don't mind how long it takes to negotiate, to bring peace. And that I've learned with a great deal of respect. I believe that even as majority leader, you would not assume that you have the numbers. So you have to railroad matters on this House floor. I pray that you continue with that skill, so that together we ensure the peace of this House by assisting Mr. Speaker.
Meanwhile, new majority leader Mahama Ayariga is promising to carry the NPP along despite its very small numbers.
I'm thankful for the confidence reposed in me, fully aware that this is an onerous role. I intend to discharge it to the best of my ability. Our duty as legislators is to ensure that we do all we can for the betterment of the people of Ghana. As leaders of the House, as a leader of the House, I have an abiding duty to ensure that we always stand on the side of Ghanaians. Right, Honorable Speaker, this is my charge to keep and a duty I will faithfully discharge. As leader of the House, I am committed to working hard to ensure that members work in an environment that is more conducive, convenient, and friendly. We are the representatives of the people of Ghana for a reason. Let us always be guided by this, that way we will carve a place for ourselves in the annals of our dear country.
And Minority Leader Alexander Afenyomarkin has called on President John Mahama to apologize to Ghanaians and appoint more than 60 ministers. It will be recalled that on the campaign trail, the then NDC's flag bearer and now president promised to appoint not more than 60 ministers. This is a promise he has affirmed he will stick to. Speaking on the floor of Parliament during the debate on the approval of ministers, Alexander Afenyomarkin insisted that it would be hard to govern with 60 ministers, urging the president to honestly apologize to Ghanaians and appoint more ministers.
When we make mistakes, let's admit them and apologize. 60 ministers will not help your political cause. But when civil society comes out with the narrative, as if everything is done by the political class, instead of us boldly explaining to them the intricacies of politics, then we also fall for the trap and we make political commitment. I don't doubt the competence of Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, but that huge ministry, local government, and chieftaincy, all these conflicts, the behind the scenes, negotiations for peace and local governance. Mr. Speaker, I am not the president, but if I were to advise Mr. President, I would say, Mr. President, you can apologize to Ghanaians and say, look, you underestimated the thing. I think I need to engage more ministers. Because, Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow this. And the civil servant, what people have forgotten is that as you put two ministries together, the staffers are the same. All the civil servants who are there, they remain same. And then you say only one minister to supervise and monitor. Things will soon get out of hand and you take the collateral damage. And then they say there's corruption.
Well, let's stay on the political terrain as the Supreme Court has adjourned indefinitely two separate cases involving the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party, as both parties failed to serve the suits on each other. In the first case, the NPP filed a suit asking the Supreme Court to overturn an injunction secured by the NDC on the already declared Akwatia elections. The other case is the NDC's suit against an Accra High Court's ruling which allowed for the collation of Tema Central, Okaikwe Central, Techiman South, and Ablekuma North results. But there was a surprising turn of events in court when it emerged that both parties had failed to serve the writs on each other. James Aveji has details from the court.
Parliamentary candidate for the NDC in the Akwatia constituency, Henry Boachi Yadom, on 31st December 2024 filed an election petition case at the High Court in Koforidua and sought for an interim injunction to prevent the swearing-in of the NPP's candidate, Ernest Kumi. This was after the Electoral Commission declared Ernest Kumi winner of the Akwatia constituency elections. The court on January 2 granted the injunction application. The NPP subsequently filed a case at the Supreme Court asking the Apex Court to overturn the decision. Despite pending determination of the matter, the Electoral Commission went ahead to gazette NS Yaokumi among 274 others as MP-elect and subsequently sworn in by Parliament on January 7. When the case was called in court, the Supreme Court revealed that the court's records indicate that the NPP has failed to serve the suit on the NDC. The court proceeded to adjourn the case indefinitely. Here's Director of Legals for the NPP, Gary Nimako.
It was filed on 31st of December 2024. The Court of Action has not accrued, but the court decided not to, hear the prayer of Mr. Kumi, and then proceeded to say that, well, there is a publication by Dr. Bosuma Asare in the media, and so relied on the publication to say that there is Gazette. Well, as a matter of fact, we now all know that Gazette was done on the 6th of January 2025. So we are simply saying that what the court did was wrongful. So the Supreme Court should question what the court has done and then prohibit the judge from hearing any case involving NS Kumi.
The Supreme Court, in a separate matter but in the same fashion, also adjourned indefinitely the National Democratic Congress's case against the coalition of Tema Central, Okaikwe Central, Techiman South, and Ablikman North indefinitely. The NDC filed a case seeking to overturn the decision of an Accra High Court which granted a mandamus application filed by the NPP, which allowed for the coalition and declaration of Okaikwe Central, Tema Central, and Techiman South result, with Ablikman North yet to be determined. Both parties are expected to serve each other before the cases could continue. From the Supreme Court in Accra, I am James Aveji for Joy News.
Well, let's turn our attention to illegal mining now, as 2 persons have died and 1 is in critical condition in a renewed illegal mining siege on the Tano Amia Forest Reserve in the Awin municipality of the Western region. Joy News can confirm the 2 groups who have laid siege on the forest on Wednesday engaged in a fight leading to the deaths of 2, and 1 is in critical condition with severe gunshot wounds. The armed groups led by known political activists have taken over the biodiversity area and are mining illegally since power changed hands, threatening the lives of forestry officials and concessionaires. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko now reports.
The Tanwania Forest Reserve was invaded early last year by known political actors in the Awin municipality, spearheaded by armed thugs. Clean Jobs, the company with a legal concession in the area, has been teaming up with the Forestry Commission to ward off the illegal miners, preventing full-scale destruction of the reserve. But after a momentary respite following a change in power, 2 armed groups have taken over, laying siege and engaging in the illegal mining of the biodiversity area. Sources on the ground accuse the MP for the area of sponsoring the fresh siege on the forest with close to 17 excavators. But Oscar Oforilabi has denied involvement, but confirms those mining are party boys. Members of a rapid response team dispatched to stop the illegality were later accosted outside the forest area by the illegal miners on motorbikes, taken to an unknown location and assaulted. Joy News checks revealed they seized the weapons of some of the forest guards. On Wednesday, the 2 armed groups who have laid siege in the Tananya Forest Reserve engaged in a fight leading to the death of 2 and 1 in a critical condition with severe gunshot wounds. Sources at the Forestry Commission say forest guards are unable to discharge their duties anymore because of the latest invasion. Forest reserves affected in the latest wave of invasion include Tanwania, Tanonimre, and the Yoyo Forest Reserves. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaridonko, Awin Municipality, Western Region.
Ningo Prampram Member of Parliament and Communications Minister Designate Sam George says Ghana stands to save an estimated $300 million annually by centralizing data exchange and ICT platforms. Speaking at the Engage Ghana event held at the Kempinski Hotel, Sam George expressed concern over the duplication of data by various government agencies, describing it as a major challenge. He emphasized the need for harmonization, which he believes will streamline operations, reduce inefficiencies, and significantly cut costs. There's more in this report.
Engage Ghana brought together key figures from the diaspora, particularly the U.S., alongside Ghanaian business and political leaders to discuss strategies for advancing Ghana's business, economic and workforce development. The event served as a platform to foster collaboration and innovation for the country's growth. MP for Ningo Pram and Communications Minister Designate Sam George said Ghana could save up to $300 million annually by centralizing data exchange and ICT systems. He called for harmonization across government agencies to eliminate data duplication.
You've got too many siloed data sets that are not speaking to each other. And so there's so many cracks and dark and gray areas in our data management in the country. And forgive me, but it's simply because there's a lot of procurement that's going on in ICT that's duplicated, and people in the public sector are creaming off the public taxes just to do procurement. Well, President Mahama is clear that he doesn't want that level of corruption to continue again. We are clear in our minds that with a centralized data exchange and a centralized ICT platform for the country, every year we'll make savings of at least $300 million. Now imagine how much $300 million can do for a community or for communities in this country relative to provision of school blocks, relative to CHIPS compounds or pipe-on water. Over 4 years, that's $1.2 billion. We've gone to the IMF before for $1.5 billion. So just by centralizing the entire government ICT operation, you're beginning to make those savings every year.
A presidential staffer, Beatrice Annan, reaffirmed the government's focus on partnerships with the private sector to drive job creation and boost economic growth.
So we are looking forward, one, to private partnerships that are beneficial to many young people as long as it relates to jobs. Because the government is not going to invest the $3 billion themselves. And we are asking you, private sector, to come and invest the $3 billion. I'm sure that we are going to ask for value for money. We are going to look at the right sectors. We are going to cut away waste and the duplication of rules, because then private sector is in to make profit.
President and CEO of OIC of South Florida, Newton Sanon, emphasized the need for Ghana to embrace artificial intelligence, stressing its transformative potential for the country's development.
But in large part, I've been listening to AI consistently. If you, in some form or fashion, don't get tuned into AI and how pervasive it's going to be in our life, from a local and international standpoint, you're going to get left behind. So AI and a lot of technology is informing international workforce development opportunities. So I tell people to don't run from it, embrace it.
Managing partner at Oak and Woods, one of Accra's leading commercial law firms, Bernard Owusu-Chimesi, identified real estate as a reliable investment option within Ghana's current economic landscape, encouraging both local and international investors to explore opportunities in the sector.
So far, because of how the city is volatile, it is the most secure thing anybody can do in our economy. You are okay to quickly do, you check your land title, bring your lawyers, and you buy it. Now, because of Airbnb, God bless them, you can rent everything in this world now. You can rent it. So it is easier to protect your investment there. That is the way forward, at least for now, until we are so sure the economy is going to stand.
A former executive chef at renowned establishments such as Movenpick, Ambassador Hotel and Golden Tulip Hotel, Chef John Odro pushed for stronger collaboration between Ghanaian businesses and the diaspora to drive mutual growth and innovation.
Well, time now for us to serve you our business updates, starting with the currency market. Well, from the currency market, let's get into our stories now. And the Ghana Hotels Association is pushing for the consolidation of taxes within the hospitality industry into one component at an affordable level to accelerate the growth of the tourism sector. According to the group, the numerous taxes are burdensome, which is hampering the sustainability of the sector. Speaking to Joy Business, President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Edward Akanyamika Jr., said there had to be a deliberate attempt by the incoming sector minister to take a relook at some of the taxes in the hospitality industry.
We are actually pushing for consolidation of the taxes within the sector. We have the value-added tax, we have the GET fund, we have the NHIL, we have the COVID-19, we have the sustainability levy, and all that. And then you also come in and add the regulatory fees with, and then copyright royalties. And see, we are looking for a system that consolidates these taxes and levies into one component tax at affordable levels that will motivate or promote the business. So it's not just about removing, say, the COVID-19. That does not solve the situation. So it requires a deeper appreciation of the issue because, you know, we have issues about utility tariffs as well. That's also there. And then issues about the our high staffing, maintenance. Hotel business is such that if you have to keep an eye on your maintenance 24 hours around the clock because you are serving clients who are sensitive to anything that has to do with the standards or quality that you expect them to enjoy. Okay, and that's cost for high cost input. And then don't forget also that a lot of the upmarket hotels have to import the things they use because they can't get it on a regular basis here. Okay, so issues about exchange rate and also the high cost of borrowing. The earlier report talked about something like that. The high cost of credit, high cost of borrowing. Okay, now when you put all these things together, that is what makes our prices a bit or appear to be high.
Now, some banks are linking the current pressure on the cedi to limited supply of dollars by the Bank of Ghana. George Riafe has the rest of the story.
Data picked up from some of the commercial banks showed that demand over the past week is coming from corporates and firms operating in these sectors, as most of them are trying to restock for the year. The current pressure on the Ghana cedi, according to some market analysts, is purely a demand and supply issue. The Bank of Ghana is still in a strong position to support the Ghana cedi, looking at their current state of reserves. Therefore, some market analysts have described it as interesting, looking at the limited support of dollars on the market. However, some have argued that following the resumption of debt repayment to bondholders since October last year, there's a need for the central bank to be tactful over how it uses its reserves. Even if you restrict yourselves to the bank rates, it has moved from the 14 cedis range to $1 when it comes to the rates from 2 weeks ago to now more than 15 Ghana cedis to $1. For some, the first quarter pressure is expected, with some even describing it as perennial, but maybe some fresh measures need to be introduced to slow the rate of depreciation against the US dollar.
Let's now cap off the business updates with our commodities market for today. Business is done and dusted, and that's how we cap off the news in its entirety. But stay with us for the news review. Three strong gentlemen join us. Professor Isaac Buedi, he is with the University of Professional Studies, Accra. We have Kwame Nkrumah Botio, he's with the Convention People's Party. And then we have Andrew Appiah Dankwa with the Movement for Change. All of them join us as we serve you the news review up next.